Hey, Teddy here. Hope you're all having a happy new year and a happy new decade as well. Today, as usual, I have news I need to address and lots of things I need to address. Now, first off, let's just get on with the news, shall we? Okay then. In case if you're all wondering what's been going on with the next casual reviews of bearRimshot ever since I last did an updated vlog, well, at the moment, I already finished up watching The Lion King. So yeah, as all of you guys can honestly tell, I'm still in the 90s at the moment. However, I would honestly like to mention that once I'm done sitting through The Lion King 2 Simba's Pride, there is a major possibility that I may need to watch Dumbo. Pretty much go back time to watch that. I know what all of you are probably going to be thinking, why is that? Well, no people, Dumbo is not in Kingdom Hearts 3. However, and no people, there is no Dumbo World in Kingdom Hearts 3. However, it just so happens that, well, I will be really honest here when I say this, that at the time when I started making this entire episode beginning with Snow White, going all the way up to Fantasia, also counting Fantasia 2000s, well, I really honestly did not know that Dumbo did actually appear in Kingdom Hearts as well. However, it just did so obviously happen that when Dumbo appeared in Kingdom Hearts, it wouldn't necessarily be a retelling of either a portion of the movie or the entire movie, but rather having him be one of those Disney characters who would likely Puma could have summoned in one of the games. So, to anybody watching this who knows their Kingdom Hearts stuff, oops, my bad. But anyways, as for any upcoming projects you guys can expect to see throughout the entire winter season, well, of course, I still have not forgotten about what I originally wanted to release back just in time for the 30th anniversary of Little Mermaid last year. All that will still be released eventually. Whenever I honestly can. Also, not only that, but also another thing you need to know about, another thing you guys also need to know is that, well, when thinking about, as for upcoming downfall parodies you guys can expect me to make, well, there are two I really would love to make, actually, that I should be able to release this year. Only this time, those two I want to make would include, the first one would be just in time for the 10th anniversary for the PlayStation 2. I definitely would have loved it if I could make a downfall period where Hitler finds out that PlayStation 2 emulation on all non-Windows devices suck. It's really sad for me to say that and for me to hear other people say that, but unfortunately, it is what it is with PlayStation 2 emulation on all non-Windows devices, But, yeah. And when regarding the release date for that, if I don't release it just in time for the 10th anniversary of the PlayStation 2 back when it first came out in Japan, you guys can also expect it to release it just in time for the 10th anniversary of the PlayStation 2 back when it first came to North America. Only in America, if you know what I mean, but yeah. And Another downfall parody I'd also would love to make would be one I've always been wanting to make for a while. This time being one where Hitler finds out that all the Billy Goat would serve would be nothing but cheeseburgers, chips, and Coke. And yeah, to anyone who's got diabetes watching this, yes, people, they do. The Billy Goat also does serve Diet Coke if you need it for sugar-free. But yeah, they do have Diet Coke. But yeah, and and now that I got all the news out of the way, well, also, as for upcoming vlogs, you guys can all expect, almost forgot to mention, oops, the same ones as before. This time, the next one that I'm supposed to be doing would, at the moment as I'm currently recording this, would be one sharing my thoughts on D23. So whenever I have free time, I'll definitely make sure I do that one whenever I can. But yeah. Also, in between your Comic-Con and MagFest, there is a possibility that I might do not one, but two special vlogs in between. Being one discussing my thoughts in 2019, as well as one sharing my thoughts on, as well as one where I get to examine why I think 2018 is a good year. And yes, people, you've all heard this right. 2018 was a really, really good year for me personally, even though, surely, just like with every other year, that I guess I may have gone through some quirks in there, but what are you going to do? That's just life, you know? And so what if there were a lot of famous celebrities that died, like Stan Lee, for example? That's just life, and besides, when reflecting 2008 on its own, I didn't get to lose as many people I personally life, including especially fan members in the level of 2016. Regarding 2016, we can all agree sucked. But yeah, now that I got news out of the way, let's get on with the results for this one poll I did last year, talking about the survey I would consider hosting last year. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, last year I hosted a survey because, well, even though, yes, I can be, quote-unquote, very proud of what I may have done on my part, at the same time, well, let's just say, to keep this long story short, something I've been getting from some people whose names I'm not going to mention is that, yeah, I made some terrible mistakes in the past, and I definitely happened to have some things I just knew I needed to improve on. Anyways, on with the results, just for me to properly announce all the winners. For any questions involving that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, the winner for what the majority of you wanted to see me make, and the winner for the most highly requested death battle themed casual reviews of bearRimshot goes would be one discussing my own list of death battles in general I feel should happen. I mean, that should be interesting, but okay. Anyways, moving on. As for wanted most wanted episode involving Pinkie Pie. Cat in the Hat wins this one. As for whether or not the majority of you wanted to see Battle Games get traded in card game, it turns out that the majority of you would. Though for right now, at the moment, I'm just gonna focus on making Battle of the Groups into not just into a digital board game, but also an entire cookbook as well as, and then once I completed work on the entire once I finally got to release Battle of the Groups as a digital board game, outside of more and more new updates here and there as say new things happen in life, like say more and more crossover projects in general that exist get to be made, like whether it be a Wreck-It Ralph 3 or Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2 or Super Smash Bros. 6 or whatever new DLC fighters we will be getting for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or whatever new characters will be in Super Smash Bros. 2. Yeah. As well as whatever new characters will get their own Lego minifigures or Funko Pop toys. Well, yeah. Yes, people heard that right. Once I get to release Battle of the Groups, not just a digital board game, but also a video game as well, you guys can definitely expect me to make, anyways. You know, when what will happen to Battle of the Groups when I get to release it as a digital board game, not only can you expect more and more updates that to be made as new stuff happens to them, whether it would have crossover media or through merchandise or whatever, but also the same thing can also be said about, well, but also that's where I can finally move on into making Battle of the Groups into a video game outside of having to make some major updates regarding digital board games over here and there, as well as an animated series as well. And once Battle of the Groups has been finally released as a video game, maybe an animated series as well if possible, that's outside of just like with the digital board game, more and more updates for the video game as well. That's where all of you guys can expect me to potentially make a trading card game. So yeah, you guys will probably not be getting to see Battle of the Groups. So if you guys really want to play Battle of the Groups as a trading card game, you guys will have to wait a while till after Battle of the Groups gets to be released. Not just a digital board game, but also as a video game, as everything tend to be, as well as an animated series, which yes, people will be released over here on my YouTube channel. But anyways, moving on. As for whether or not the majority of you here really do miss me making birthday message videos to YouTube celebrities I always look up to, well, looks like the majority of you don't seem to approve the idea of me making more birthday message videos to my favorite YouTube celebrities. Well, that's a shame because, well, as I mentioned before, only if the majority of you did say yes, do you guys miss me making more birthday message videos to YouTube celebrities I like. When thinking about what I would have wanted to do for the next birthday message video, I'm like, whether you guys believe it or not, it will be another birthday apology video I would consider making, this time to Mr. Coat. However, because the majority of you would just go say no to that, well, looks like, well, let's just say it's been decided what to do with that. Instead, make that as nothing more than an ordinary public apology video. And for those who don't realize this, yes, as much as I still refuse to apologize for both lying about Mike Mixtape and stalking Morgan Ledger, both of which I still deny myself doing it to this day for obvious reasons. Well, if you guys really want to apologize, if all of you guys are really that desperate for me to owe an apology for when I called Morgan a pedophile, well, me apologizing for calling Morgan as a pedophile, I will happily do at some point. And if all of you guys throughout the whole time Mr. Code and Friends community really do still feel like you guys need space from me at the moment, well, no problemo. The good news about that is that, well, you definitely would be given a lot more time with that. And yeah, when regarding the release date for when I get to make a birthday message video, a public apology video to Mr. Coat, well, to Mr. Coat and Friends, I decided to let that wait for a while. Yeah, it may take a while for me to release it. Well, what I did decide to do regarding 911, say I have nothing else I need to vlog at that time, then maybe I will happily do a special vlog where I get to do this public apology to the entire Mr. Code and Friends community. So yeah, because that the majority of you don't miss me in making more birthday message videos, looks like, well, I have no choice but to make what I had in mind to Mr. Coat as a public apology video instead. But yeah. And if I can be very honest, why I feel like asking such a question in the first place, well, now I know I said before, back in 2018, during the winter season 2018, that I didn't want to make more birthday message videos anymore. Just because, well, not only have AzuchiGuardian wants to would do anything to earn the birthdays for these particular people I've been making birthday message videos of, up to the point that these particular people would get bitter with me again because of AzuchiGuardian for whatever reason or another, as can especially be proven with not just HimeTube, but more tragically the mole Morgan Ledger, but also scheduling conflicts as well, you know? But anyways, moving on to the next question. For most wanted steamed hams dubbed for me to release just in time for my birthday as part of my second annual viewers choice. Turns out it's Shrek. And no big deal if a minority of you voted for Minnie Mouse for, I will honestly say, I'm actually already making a steamed hams dub of Minnie Mouse anyways, that would be made in honor of Rusty Taylor, who got to voice her back during my childhood, you know. As for most wanted, as for the winner for Vanellope Meets Disney Princesses for my second annual viewer's choice, speaking about Minnie Mouse, looks like Minnie Mouse just won that one, obviously. So I guess, yay. Though I do see some people who want to see me do AniMat, you know. And for those who don't realize this, yes, people, I really want to make a Vanellope Meets the Disney Princesses dub based on AniMat, you know. Considering of what a big cliche within the world of epic battles, Topsy mock AzuchiGuardian for the way he not only treats bronies, but also what he treated Huey Toonmore and AniMat as well, back when he was still officially editor of Casual Reviews of BearRimshot. But moving on, Okay, as for what the majority of you really want to see, to not just create, but also host an epic Mickey Mouse-esque show dedicated to Super Smash Brothers, well, looks like I win that one. But, yeah. If I can be very honest, what I would do if I can create for myself an epic Mickey Mouse-esque show dedicated to Super Smash Brothers, not only what I would likely call it as the Super Smash Brothers files, but also at the same time, I would also consider, when thinking about characters I will talk about, well, I will honestly say this. When getting it, only if the DLC roster for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is complete, well, as if there are currently no more DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, well, it would be most likely be 6 seasons, but the subject has yet to change depending on whether or not we can ever expect to see any more Smash games coming out soon in general after Ultimate. But here we go. When regarding how I would handle myself making the Super Smash Brothers files, well, for the first season, I would pretty much talk about the original 12 fighters whom we can play as in the original Super Smash Brothers. Not only that, but also, at the same time, you guys can also, when I get up to season 2, that's where I get to talk about all the Melee newcomers. Whereas when I get up to season 3, I would talk about all the Brawl newcomers, including characters such as Diddy Kong, Pit, Lucario, and especially including characters such as Snake and Sonic. And when I get up to season 4, that's where I get to talk about all the Smash 4 newcomers. Not just limited to characters part of the base roster in that game, like Shulk, Rosalina, Pac-Man, and Mega Man, for example, but also even including some of the DLC fighters like Ryu, Cloud, and Bayonetta as well. So yes, people, episodes based on characters such as Ryu, Cloud, and Bayonetta will also become a reality as well. And then when I get up to season 5, that's where you hear me talk about all the Smash Ultimate newcomers. Not just limited to characters part of the base roster, like Daisy, for example, King K. Rool, Ken, Simon Belmont, and Richter, for example, but also even including the entire DLC roster, since all the returning characters appearing in the game all appear as part of the base roster. So you guys can obviously expect to see me, you guys can definitely clearly expect me to talk about characters like Terry Bogard, as well as characters like Banjo-Kazooie, of course, as well as Joker, as well as the hero from Dragon Quest, even including characters like Byleth and Piranha Plant. And I know you guys say that at the moment, whenever I feel like starting again, it would be all 6 seasons. Though as noted before, things are subject to change as the future of Super Smash Bros. Moves on. Depending on not just Masahiro Sakurai, but also more importantly, Nintendo feels like doing with Smash Bros. After Ultimate. But yeah, all I can honestly say at the moment that once I reach up to this final season of that particular entire series, I pretty much say I tackled all the characters from whatever major Smash titles have already been released up to that point. When I get up to there, that's where I would go do this season, where I'd be talking about those particular characters, like as not just as an honorable mention, but also I just knew I'd most likely do so by nothing more than just popular demand. To those who have no idea what I'm talking about here, I'm talking, of course, of, being able to talk about all the different characters whom surely you sadly cannot play as any of these particular characters actually in the main games. However, if you guys are aware that super people play as these particular characters in a fan, and if guys were that doesn't play people play as any of these particular characters in Smash game in general, well, therefore you guys got those fan-made Smash games that you could have played as these particular characters, which include the Super Smash Flash games, as well as Super Smash Bros. Crusade, and Super Clash Brothers. And yes, people, that's right. From what you guys cannot tell, regardless if any of these characters will ever be in a major Smash title or not, Super Smash Bros. Follows episodes based on characters such as Bomberman, Waluigi, maybe Shovel Knight, as well as Crash Bandicoot, as well as any other Sonic character, any additional Sonic character, as well as some other Sonic characters that exist besides Sonic, such as Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow, as well as Chun-Li, as well as Phoenix Wright, and especially including some non-video game characters like Goku, for example, Mr. Incredible, Luke Skywalker, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Thanos will all indeed become realities. Oh, and let's not forget about Batman as well. But yeah. So yeah, if you happen to have any fond memories playing, if you like, so as if you're one of those Smash players who also enjoyed playing any of the fan-made Smash games that exist, yes, people, I will also acknowledge the fan games that exist. I'm going to save all that for the final season, for this series finale. Basically, I see that as nothing more than just as an honorable mention for this, as an honorable mention this season for the series, but also something I see myself do most likely by popular demand, because, let's be honest here, God who knows there could have been some characters we can currently only play in the fan games at the moment, who could have been highly requested to be in Smash, like Shadow, for example, like additional Sonic characters, for example, Waluigi, Chun-Li, Phoenix Wright, Goku especially, Crash Bandicoot, Rayman, as well as Spider-Man, Wolverine, Batman, and Luke Skywalker would all most certainly be some of those characters who are more likely going to be regarded as are most certainly all highly requested choices. Even Chun-Li would most likely okay, maybe not on the level of, say, additional Sonic characters, nor. Now, when regarding Chun-Li, surely she's no Waluigi, but still, it would be nice if. But still, comparing her to someone like, I guess, like Cooper or Kratos, considering her popularity considering her popularity within the world of crossover media, considering her popularity as a character in general, including having to pop up in various other crossover projects that exist, not just limited to games like the entire Versus catalog, but also even having to pop up in movies, as Nintendo checks point out, like Wreck-It Ralph and Ready Player One, plus Ralph Breaks the Internet, but also as well as having to be famously proclaimed to be the original female fighter in a fighting game, all that would obviously go make a whole lot of sense if Chun-Li can be in Smash. Now, I'm not saying that characters from other Capcom games not currently representing Smash Bros. Yet, as I'm currently recording this, like, say, Monster Hunter or Resident Evil can never be in Smash. Far from it. In fact, I'm pretty sure there could have been more Capcom created games that could have been represented in World of Epic Battles as well than just Street Fighter and Mega Man. I was just saying, well, if Chun-Li didn't get to be in Smash, it would most certainly be a missed opportunity for someone like Chun-Li. But yeah. And in case of anyone else start making the Super Smash Bros. I decided to wait a while with that. And as for whether we'll be editing it, well, let's just say it's been decided that I'm going to do the editing this time. Or at the very least, just the majority of it. As well as filming as well. Excuse me. Anyways, moving on to the next question. As for most wanted, as for the winner for the Green Eggs Him audiobook, you'd love to see me do much in a review store as well. Good choice with this one, but Donald Duck and Goofy. Yeah, when regarding the voice of Donald Duck, as much as I tried to ask anyone who got to voice Donald Duck in one of my projects in the past, I would all like to let you know that the person who will be voicing Donald Duck in this one will not be the same exact one as anyone who has ever voiced Donald Duck in one of my projects before. So yeah, DJ Martin, Scrooge Dog, if you're both kids watching this, sorry I couldn't ask you in advance, though I did try with you, Scrooge Dog. There wouldn't be until before you got to respond, even though you didn't for whatever reason last time I checked my casting call account. I have been noticing that one random guy just decided to audition to voice Donald Duck. He actually does a surprisingly good job, but yeah. Moving on. As for winner for Air Transformation, well, Mulan. Now, I will be really, really, really honest here. That when regarding the release for not just those Dr. Seuss audiobooks I consider making, but also Ariel's transformation parody videos as well, don't expect all of them to be released on my birthday this year. Though I'll try to make sure I release them before the year ends as soon as I possibly can. However, I will honestly say this. The first things first regarding Ariel's transformation, I'd have to take care of Ariel first. Then once Ariel has been taken care of, might as well take care of Mulan. But anyways, moving on. As for winner for Mind Song, nobody does things like Gaston. Okay, then, well, you guys seriously could have voted for Gaston eating eggs if you want, but I guess nobody does things like Gaston works, but moving on. As for winner for most wanted cat audiobook, looks like Winnie the Pooh wins this one. And when I ask you what's your favorite videos done, I'm sure all of you may have noticed that I didn't bother offering you guys to vote for update vlogs. Well, I will be really, really honest here, that when I do update vlogs, I only do them just because I need to, feel like I need to at times. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you see me make an updated vlog channel, it is worth understanding your part. That should especially be you, AzuchiGuardian, if you're watching this, that when I do an update vlog, I'm just doing nothing more than just talking about what's been going on with my life as a YouTuber, and whether or not I have anything else I need to address. But moving on. To anybody who wants to see me make more reviews, well, I can't promise that. Though if you really want to see me make more editorials and countdowns, well, I'm going to do that as well on the side. But anyways, as for the winner for most wanted Nintendo-themed casual reviews of bearRimshot episode, that'll be the top 11 dumbest Nintendo Switch moments. I mean, it's really funny the majority of you should have voted for the top 11 dumbest Nintendo Switch moments. You know, want to know why? Because when reflecting the Nintendo Switch on its own, yes, it can have its good qualities, like, for example, we got a Mario game released on the Switch, as well as a Zelda game, as well as a Smash game that ended up being the strongest out of the entire Smash series. As well as its new Splatoon game, as well as what else did we get for the Switch? Oh yes, what else was new original IPs like ARMS, for example, as well as a new Sonic game, as well as a new Bomberman game, as well as a new Street Fighter game, even if it's just re-releases of already existing games of the entire Street Fighter back catalog, as well as a Lego Star Wars title, as well as a Lego Marvel title. Too bad they didn't get to cash. Too bad Lego Marvel 2 had to be one of those Marvel games that did indeed cash in with the success of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Though we should be getting one that will feature all the Fox on Marvel characters like X-Men, Fantastic Four, maybe Deadpool. As well as a Lego Star Wars title, as well as a Lego DC game, as well as a Lego Disney game. Outside of Marvel or Star Wars, if you know what I mean. Or something came out of Lucasfilm in general that matters. We also did get Indiana Jones, so we get its own Lego games as well. And, also worth noting, we did get to see, Crash Bandicoot make it on the Switch. And then don't forget, as Snake got to return in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that's where luckily for a character like Snake, he finally got his own amiibo figure. The same can also be said about Ken when he got to join Smash as well. However, unfortunately, just like with every other Nintendo console that exists, there's always going to be something to complain about, you know. And I'm really not going to lie when I say that about the Switch. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Switch is great for what it is. I bet we can all agree it's definitely nice to be able to play all of my favorite AAA games on the go. Really love that idea a lot, you know. I'm just saying there are some things worth complaining about regarding the Switch. whether it be certain games that never got to see Switch ports, or lack of titles coming from an already existing console, like, or lack of games released on an already existing on an older console, like the GameCube, for example, or the fact that there would be certain games released on the Switch in general, as well, that don't get amiibo support that they rightfully deserve. In fact, it's surely worth noting that there are not too many third-party games released on the Switch in general that would get amiibo support. It's a shame, considering of how, well, let's be real here, when regarding the Switch, the reason why you hear me bring up amiibo support in this case is that, well, not only does Switch already support amiibo to this point, but also, when regarding how Nintendo can be when they did work on the Switch, they did originally promise us that they would give us more third-party support in general compared to, say, the Wii U. Not just limited to things like games, for example, but also the same can also be said about amiibo support. And even though, yes, we did get plenty of third-party games released on the console, like some Sonic, some Street Fighter, some Crash Bandicoot, some licensed Lego games, some Marvel, some Star Wars, as well as Disney Sim game and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, not a lot of those particular games get amiibo support. I mean, sure, you got games like, Shovel Knight and Dark Souls that would get amiibo support. Not only that, but also characters such as Snake as he got to return, and characters as he got to return in Smash Ultimate, and as characters like Simon Belmont, Richter, and Ken all officially joined Super Smash Bros. They all did indeed get amiibo figures as well. And since everyone currently a part of the entire base roster for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate already got their own amiibo figures, God who knows, at some point down the road, we could have seen characters like Joker, Hero, Banjo-Kazooie, Terry Bogard, and Byleth to get their own amiibo figures as well, Just saying, we'll just have to wait until the time comes. Anyways, moving on. As for the winner for the most wanted Marvel-themed Casual Reviews bearRimshot episode, well, looks like it's Big Hero 6. As for the winner for most wanted Dr. Seuss-themed Casual Reviews bearRimshot episode, I could have done without the need to ask Morgan if I wanted to. My top 5 most favorite Dr. Seuss books. Though there is a possibility that either during Season 2 or Season 3 or so, there is a possibility that I might also do Mitzvah Movie Month as well. Which, to anyone who has no idea what that is, well, basically, I would review movies that were tables that were gimmicks at my oldest cousin Jackie's bat mitzvah. Which I'm going to handle. Making these episodes is basically, I would pretty much review them in order based on when each of these movies first came out. In which, well, which from what you guys can tell how I would handle that, the first movie as part of Mitzvah Movie Month I'll likely be reviewing will be Beauty and the Beast, which I'm only going to review the original movie and that's it. Not going to say no to reviewing, say, the direct-to-video sequels and maybe the live-action remake. But yeah, I decided to review the original movie as it is. But anyways, whereas the last one, well, I guess, Troy, but yeah. Now, when I get to review movies like Shrek, Lord of the Rings, or Pirates of the Caribbean, you guys can definitely expect me review it in the veins of how Hugh Tomer and Anna both did it for themselves when they did this co-review 10 years ago on Scary Godmother. Basically, what I would do for Shrek, Lord of the Rings, and Pirates of the Caribbean is that when you guys get to see me review Shrek, I'm pretty much going to review the entire Shrek saga all in one episode, whereas when I get to review Lord of the Rings, I'm going to review the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy as part, again, all in one episode, and I will also review the entire Pirates of the Caribbean saga as part of the all in one episode, you know. And I really, really do mean it what I said. I mean, I meant what I said, I said what I meant, and all of it's faithful 100%. Okay. Finally got to look over at my survey. Now, when reflecting the answers I got regarding the answers I got for how I can improve myself, I will be really, really honest about myself here when I say this, that if I don't meet up your expectations with whatever it is you want me to improve on, that's probably because you're a troll. And yes, that especially means you, AzuchiGuardian, which I definitely know for a fact you love to say retarded things about me whenever you feel like it, as you say. But, yeah. Anyways, now that I get that out of the way, let's get on discussion regarding to another poll I just made. Only this time, it would involve, well, from what you guys can tell, how I am as a YouTuber in general. I'm sure all of you guys may know as I'm currently recording this. As of right now, I currently have 91 subscribers. And because that I currently have 91 subscribers, that means that I'm just about this close in finally being able to reach up to 100 subscribers. How exciting would that be? And anyways, and when figuring out whatever it is I want to do to celebrate that, well, let's just say, well, there'll be 3 things I'll be doing to happily celebrate that. Now, the first thing I would ever consider doing would include, would be, of course, might as well also do another viewer's choice. This time celebrating 100 subscribers. Now, and I will be really, really honest with you guys when I say this, that regarding any animated projects or fan-made doctors audiobooks that I consider that are either currently or yet to be in production, there may be some delays with that. So don't think I would make false promises just because I take too long with that concept. Because, let's be honest here, to quote Toy Story 2, you can't rush art. And this same can also be said about the games which I'll happily talk more about later, but yeah. And, as for the second thing, based on how I would handle myself, celebrating 100 subscribers, I would also consider going out to eat. Most likely for either lunch or dinner. maybe, possibly lunch, but yeah. Basically, from what you guys can see, scrolling down the entire choices I have up that you guys can vote for where you guys can vote for where you guys want me to eat, for restaurants where I can eat at to celebrate that it is worth keeping open. Mine on your part that I must have my dessert. And I know when you guys hear me say that, I know I'm gonna get some really major health concerns when you guys hear me bring that up, considering how well I did actually state this publicly in the past before that I actually have diabetes to prove that. Now, I will be really honest here, it's not usual you guys hear me bring that up if I feel like it, and as I addressed before, the only reason why I would consider bringing up diabetes, the fact that I have diabetes in the public, is really all boiling down to, let's just say, there would be those certain fellow content creators whose names I'm not going to mention, who like to believe that nobody cares about AzuchiGuardian. Is that a good thing? Well, when regarding, say, I feel like being honest with you guys on what really put me through such a stressful creative life, up to the point that I would not only regularly get bad blood sugar because of that, but also I almost considered committing suicide because of that as well. Just be lucky I don't ever think about that as much anymore, considering of how well, at least I'm lucky you guys to truly support me. But yeah. Screw the haters, they can go straight to hell. That means you, AzuchiGuardian, who loves to say retarded things about me. But yeah. But anyways, this is where I would find these people taking or putting me through such a creative life as a joke, you know. And do keep an open mind that I really did not lie at all when you hear me call out a bunch of AniMat fans. Not saying every AniMat fan in general would necessarily do this. I was just saying there would be people within the AniMat fan base, both past and present, like Kaleb Korger, for example, Alexander Bella, Chris Trotter, and Ray, for example, whom whenever they get to think about me, this is a moment where people like them, for example, especially including Kaleb and Mia, would go treat AzuchiGuardian like he's some god or magnum opus or some beloved masterpiece, and they should seriously go to hell for that, you know. But in all seriousness, yeah, it's unfortunate that there would be people like Kaleb and Mia, for example, who not only would rather fill themselves with AzuchiGuardian more so than me, but also at the same time, they just want to be like AzuchiGuardian more so than they would with AniMat. Which I find to be sad for me to see, because yeah, I can talk about more of that later. But anyways, I honestly also say this at the moment, that when regarding AzuchiGuardian, it should be worth noting that considering when regarding AzuchiGuardian, considering that this is somebody who obviously carries literally such a long history in wanting to silence people for doing things with preschool things creatively, not just having to silence me, not just being silent by being a major sex offender over when I became a brony, even if it is for the sake of my work and epic battles, but also at the same time, AzuchiGuardian himself did actually state in one video that he, back during the Christmas season in 2017, as originally released on Vimeo, then later released on YouTube in 2018, there's one video AzuchiGuardian made 2 to 3 years ago where AzuchiGuardian did actually admit about himself that he actually did put Morgan Ledger down, not just regarding when I made this update vlog, back in 2016, even though what all I ever wanted to do to Morgan at that point, at that time, was nothing more than just trying to cheer him up on what horribly went wrong, but also, at the same time, AzuchiGuardian also rightfully admitted in one of the only updates video back in originally released in Vimeo 2017, then later released in 2018, that AzuchiGuardian does deserve a lot of blame for making Morgan not want to do a co-review with me on Casual Reviews bearRimshot, let alone collaborate with me in general. That matters, you know. And yeah, it's really a shame Morgan doesn't want to do that, but yeah. But at the same time, as I made myself perfectly clear back in 2016, co-reviews wouldn't be right now anyways. Regarding my current schedule for Casual Reviews bearRimshot at the moment, all you guys will ever see me make nothing but solo episodes, that's it. However, in the next episode of Casual Reviews bearRimshot, there is a possibility that I might have someone doing a cameo. And no, people, it's not going to be Morgan who would do cameo, but rather someone else. You'll see when we get there. But moving on, yeah. And then, as when regarding how Dante can be with the whole idea of My Little Pony representation, and also AzuchiGuardian also did the same for what AzuchiGuardian did to me, not just regarding the whole idea of me liking My Little Pony and me doing this co-review with Morgan on something Dr. Seuss themed. AzuchiGuardian also felt like doing the same crap to one of my bestest friends of all time, Nicholas Centra, aka Banana Gamer 105. Only this time, not only did AzuchiGuardian verbally rape Nicholas Centra for liking My Little Pony, but also he even lied to his viewers about Nicholas Centra's ideal vacation spot for being in Teletubby Land. He even felt like this one time, take this one parody video Nicholas Centra made wrong, go make a political rants about it and spew venom at him making this video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure some of you may have heard me talk about this before, but there's this one parody video Nicholas Centra made where Sonic and Shadow were both destroying the windmill from the Teletubbies. And yeah, for what AzuchiGuardian had to say, retarded things. And what's so retarded about what AzuchiGuardian felt like saying about Nick this time? Well, let's just say he felt like lying to his viewers about Nicholas Centra's ideal vacation spot being Teletubby Land. Which in reality, it's actually Massachusetts where he goes to vacation at, not Teletubby Land. And besides, Teletubby Land doesn't even exist anyways. But, yeah. Also, and if you're ever wondering how come this video I'm talking about, where AzuchiGuardian did actually admit that he deserves a lot of blame for not just making Morgan go all cynical over when I made this one video of him back in 2016, but also at the same time have AzuchiGuardian admit about himself and he wouldn't proclaim to be a factor of how Morgan doesn't want to collaborate with me at all in the first place. Well, let's just say in the first place in case wondering when regardless of what video I'm talking about, in case wondering how come it's not a view anymore, well, from my understanding, how that particular video was whatever it is that was able to upload onto his second Vimeo page, which, and no, Morgan, the name Morgan AzuchiGuardian went for his second Vimeo account, for his last Vimeo account wasn't necessarily his real name. But anyways, when regarding of how Anyways, when regarding of what happened to AzuchiGuardian's Vimeo page, I don't know, and I'm definitely surprised AzuchiGuardian never felt like talking about it the last time we did it on the Holy Updates video. But anyways, I will honestly say this about my part, that from my point of view, at the time when AzuchiGuardian had this Vimeo account up where there wouldn't necessarily be any gaming videos you can watch on that particular entire channel, I will be very, really honest here on my part, that things were definitely not like what happened with why AzuchiGuardian didn't get up, I can definitely tell you all for a fact that when regarding what happened to AzuchiGuardian on Vimeo is definitely not the same as what happened to AzuchiGuardian on Dailymotion. At least hear me out what I mean, please. Thank you. When regarding how AzuchiGuardian has been when he's on Vimeo, let's just say, yeah, I can be guilty of why that is, but that's just a tip of the iceberg. When looking to the reality of what happened when that got AzuchiGuardian not to upload more things on Dailymotion, it's really, let's just say there would be certain times where he may go all slick with me and go all creepy sentimental, And yeah, let's be real here. For whatever happened to AzuchiGuardian that made him not be able to upload more new things on Dailymotion ever since 2016 has passed, it didn't just happen just because I feel it didn't just happen just because I felt like he should have, but rather he rightfully earned at that point. For at that point, from what you can tell, what AzuchiGuardian decided to do at the time when it happened, he would get really, really slick with me when I tried taking down those casual reviews videos he had up on YouTube at the time. But yeah, in all seriousness, AzuchiGuardian seriously has bigger and better things to do in his life than doing casual reviews. Anyways, and thank God he didn't even bother doing something for the 5th anniversary of Casual Reviews bearRimshot last year. I'm happy he did not do that. But that's just another story for another day. But anyways, as I was saying, I will honestly say this, that, when regarding this one, anyways, was the case of how, and to answer you guys' question, from my side of the story on whatever happened to AzuchiGuardian's Vimeo account, let's just say, to be very, whether guys believe it or not, to be very honest on my part, at the time when AzuchiGuardian had his last Vimeo account opened, there wasn't anything I feel like they would be taken down, even if they were. It's most likely just nothing but little things, Yeah, and to prove that AzuchiGuardian did actually own one Vimeo account, from my understanding of him, he did indeed once join Vimeo back in 2013, I believe. It could be wrong, it could be right, but anyways, but then one day, for whatever reason, Vimeo, made this policy that on Vimeo, you're not allowed to upload literally any gaming videos that matters. When I say gaming videos, we're talking more of videos heavily using footage from video games. So then, for whatever reason, AzuchiGuardian just felt like creating this new Vimeo account. This time, he would go by another alias in this case. Yes, Morgan. The first Vimeo account that AzuchiGuardian had, he did go by his when AzuchiGuardian had opened up his first Vimeo account, he would go by his real name. But the second one, he'd go by his alias, Anyways, so yeah. fortunately for me, I shouldn't have to worry about getting any form of blame at all, you know? Even if there may be things I may feel like complaining about, it's just, well, nothing more than just little things. At least he didn't do any uploading casual reviews videos onto his Vimeo account, and I'm happy about that, but yeah. I mean, regarding how I can be of AzuchiGuardian can be with gaming videos, well, what am I going to do about it, you know? If it means a lot to AzuchiGuardian to do gaming videos, let him do gaming videos all he wants, you know? Besides, when looking to the legality of someone making gaming videos, anyone can make them all if they want when they feel like it for themselves, you know what I mean? Even you can make gaming videos of your own, whenever you feel like it as well, but yeah. And then, of course, you got Dante, who, for whatever reason, when looking through the whole idea of My Little Pony representation of epic battles, that's where Dante, for whatever reason, just felt like going all Ryan Johnson with that one. But I thought if you heard about what inspired Ryan Johnson, if you're a Star Wars fan who's familiar with Ryan Johnson and what inspired him to make Knives Out, you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about. But yeah. You know, that's how Dante can be with, say, you come starting up problems with either me or Dante or the entire Epic Battles fan base regarding the whole idea of My Little Pony characters popping on Epic Battles in a nutshell. There's definitely going to be a major mockery for that one, just like what happened with AzuchiGuardian. Yeah. The survey of AzuchiGuardian does treat ponies really goes to prove that he would get mocked a lot for that, you know? But, yeah. Not to say it's wrong for someone like AzuchiGuardian, for example, to hate on My Pony. Just saying, because, you know, when regarding how the entire Epic Battles community as a whole can be regarding the whole idea of LGBT support in Epic Battles, including Dante, the entire Epic Battles community, especially including Dante, hasn't been very supportive over such idea much. Okay, sure. I just knew it would make a whole lot of sense to portray both Hamilton and Morgan Ledger as if they were gay. Well, that's because, well, for what, not just what Morgan has to say about AzuchiGuardian, but also for what Hamilton once told me in a private message when he got to revoke my Patreon pledge. Really goes to show that Morgan, Ledger, and Hamilton are both actually gay, you know? Or at the very least, what Morgan had to say about AzuchiGuardian didn't make him sound like he was actually being gay, you know? So I just knew it would make a whole lot of sense if, well, if Hamilton and Morgan, as if I still had no choice but to continue using them in Epic Battles today, that's where make Hamilton and Morgan gay, you know? Or bisexual, since, well, when you're gay, basically you're sexually falling in love with someone within the same gender, you know? Whereas when you're bisexual, you get to sexually fall in love with both male and female alike, you know? So guess what to do with Hamilton and Morgan for the future of Epic Battles? As I know Dante decided to include them in Epic Battles. Might as well make both Morgan and Hamilton bisexual. Meaning that not only would... Meaning, yes, people in Epic Battle 6, not only can you guys all most likely see Hamilton and Morgan both kissing each other, but also you guys can also expect, while that's happening, having Morgan and Hamilton flirt with girls, no problem on their part at all. Yes, people I would have both Dante and I would pretty much yes, as if I have no choice but to continue using Hamilton and Morgan for Epic Battles. I just knew that I had to portray the relationship between Hamilton and Morgan as if they were gay because, well, yeah, they're just considering how they get along in real life. I just knew it would make a whole lot of sense if Hamilton and Morgan both can be gay or bisexual at the very least. not usual to see anyone throughout the whole entire epic battles community to make someone gay, let alone make someone not straight. But yeah, might as well make Morgan and Hymentude bisexual. In this case. More so than they are gay, anyways. And straight too, but yeah. And, yeah. In all seriousness about when you guys hear me say that I must have dessert to celebrate when I got tweet for to celebrate 100 subscribers, well, yeah, when regarding of how the choices I made, yeah, from what you guys can obviously see for yourselves, guilty enough on my end, yes, I did actually include some ice cream and frozen yogurt places as part of the entire list of places you guys can vote for me to go out to YouTube once I get up to there. Now, it is worth keeping an open mind on your part that when you see me enjoy, say, I don't know, some good old ice cream or a piece of cake, well, it is worth understanding that on your part, that especially should mean you, Nicholas Hunter, if you're watching then this is all nothing more than just a special occasion. And to anyone who has health concerns me, that means you, Nicholas Hunter. I get it that you all mean well. However, as I said before, this is all nothing more than just a special occasion. So as if you're worried that I'm going to get sick or I'm going to die, well, I can tell you all this for a fact that it most certainly wouldn't be usual for all of you to see me eat dessert, eat sugary things every single day. Yeah, when you're having dessert for, say you just reached up to a new milestone amount of subscribers. It's basically just like celebrating, say, I don't know, either yours or someone else's own birthday, or a special anniversary of, say, a special event that occurred, a special significant event that happened in their lives, or just a piece of art somebody loves, like a movie or a book or a TV show or a game or a song or whatever, if you know what I mean. Excuse me. But anyways, so, yeah. As for the third thing I would do to celebrate 100 subscribers, well, I would consider hosting a bunch of movie nights. A couple over here at my house, and some at my local Alamo Draft House. And it is worth noting on your part that when it comes to being able to show certain things here in my house via streaming services that my parents would allow me to use, things will subject to change. Not just because, well, there may be things that either come in or come out of each of those streaming services that I would use, but also, in case if you're all wondering why all animated Disney movies starting with Sleeping Beauty. In case if you're all wondering why all animated Disney movies that are part of the Walt Disney Animated Canon, starting with Sleeping Beauty or any live-action / traditional animation hybrid films like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or any Mary Poppins movies are not available to vote at the moment, well, I will be really, really honest here about myself when I say this, that there is a possibility that I may want to incorporate Animation Look Back Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus as part of the entire presentation, you know. And depending on whatever it is AniMat may feel like doing for the next Animation Look Back, please do not feel surprised whatsoever if I may have to take out, well, certain animated movies or animated TV shows out of the entire list. Though at some point, whenever AniMat gets released, the rest of Animation Look Back Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus, all of you guys in general can obviously expect me to include all Walt Disney Animation Studios produced films, beginning with Sleeping Beauty, plus all the traditionally animated live action hybrid movies as part of the, like, as long as, you know, they're available to watch, of course. However, when regarding feeling like showing things at the Elmo Draft House, well, you guys can definitely expect me to host a bunch of feasts as well as one cereal party. Now, when regarding how I would handle these feasts, well, with the case of at the whenever I get to do so at the Elmo Draft House, there are two kinds of feasts I'll happily host. First one would, of course, where you guys get to vote for any movie that's not only part of the entire Big Battle Cinematic Universe, but also I must legally be able to show it. I must be able to know that I can legally show certain movies. Not only that, but also, I'm also considering of doing a feast, well, based on per individual phase. In case if you're wondering why I didn't bother doing phase 3, well, not only would the time period set between the releases of Epic Battles 2 and 3 felt pretty short, but also, well, not too many non-Disney animated movies or non-Disney movies released at the time came out at that, set between the releases of Epic Battles and Epic Battles 3. Now, okay, you've also got Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Big Hero 6. Though, if we're talking non-Disney movies, also including Fox and Muppets, well, only one of them was released at that time. That is The Penguins of Madagascar, unless you count new episodes of certain TV shows already represented at that up to that point in time, like SpongeBob, The Fairly OddParents, The Simpsons, Family Guy, Sesame Street, even My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, new Star Wars things, new Marvel things, and yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have loved it if I could show all the older Disney, Pixar, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Star Wars, as well as Marvel animation outside of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse all I want. But at the same time, yeah. Hopefully, whoever gets to take over Bob Iger's place as CEO of the Disney Company, he or she should be able to let theaters play all the older Disney, and all the older Pixar, and all the older Marvel, and all the older Star Wars movies they want. While still putting out more newer releases under these franchises, as well as still letting theaters do what they want with the entire Fox catalog, as well as the Muppets franchise and Indiana Jones franchise. But yeah. Let's just hope that whoever gets to take over Bob Iger's place gets to gets to please all the classic Disney purists like myself. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against Bob Iger personally. Excuse me, but I'm just saying it would be nice if I can be given the option to enjoy showing all the older Disney, all the older Pixar, all the older Marvel Cinematic Universe, all the older Marvel animation outside of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and all the older Star Wars movies I want, you know. Speaking about that, well, when regarding cereal parties you guys could have voted for, I guilty enough included Spaceballs. Well, I will honestly say this about myself, that if I can legally show any Star Wars movie I want at, as if I can like show any older Star Wars movie in general at my local theater, like the Yellow Draft House, for example, well, there would technically be only one I can legally show. That is a movie called Spaceballs. Well, that's because, well, when regarding the legality for Spaceballs of all things, do keep an open mind that it's owned by MGM. And plus, this is a parody of Star Wars we're talking about. So technically, yes, people, showing technically, legally, there is nothing wrong in showing Spaceballs at a local theater, even if it is an Alamo, especially when it's an Alamo Draft House. I know, pretty ironic, since it's the same exact company who not only would always get to turn down the idea of James Bond popping up in crossovers such as Super Smash Bros. Melee and Lego Dimensions, but also even turned down but also even got to turn down Disney's idea of making this DuckTales spin-off inspired by James Bond, even legally being able to make a sequel, even legally being able to make a Secret of even legally being able to make a sequel to The Secret of Nim without getting approval from Don Bluth, as well as two sequels and a TV series of All Dogs Go Heaven, also without Don Bluth, you know? So yeah, if you guys really want to make me host a cereal party at the Alamo Draft House, the closest I can ever, if you guys really like to get me to show any Star Wars things in general, well, the closest I can ever do so at the moment would be Spaceballs, for it is a parody we're talking about. But hopefully, whoever gets to take over Bob Iger's place once Bob Iger leaves Disney, God who knows, Disney should be able to change their minds for that. For let's be honest here, Disney wasn't always closed-minded about the idea of having their older things being shown in theaters while still being able to produce newer things as much as they honestly can, you know? Hell, back when Walt Disney himself was still alive, as well as again when Ron Miller was still CEO of the Walt Disney Company, there was one certain time period where Disney used to allow major theaters to show their older animated classics, including Fantasia. Even Michael Eisner even sometimes did something like this when he felt like it as can be proven what happened with movies like Fantasia, Sleeping Beauty, Little Mermaid, and especially The Lion King of all things. Yeah. However, when Bob Iger took charge of Disney, he got too closed-minded about that, and it's really a shame, you know? I mean, sure, there may have been this one certain time where Bob Iger himself did actually approve the idea of allowing theaters to show some of their old, and surely there may have been one certain time where Disney, while Bob Iger's in charge, didn't get to show some of their older animated Disney and Pixar movies. Sure, there may have been this one certain time period where they did feel like re-releasing certain older Disney or animated Disney or Pixar movies to all different theaters and as nothing more than 3D re-releases. However, as 3D on its own managed to go through its major downfall, not only can that most likely be a factor of why the 3D re-release for Little Mermaid sadly never came to be, at least widely, of course, but also 3D re-releases for the rest of the entire Star Wars saga outside of the Phantom Menace never became a reality either, you know? So yeah, as 3D would go through its major downfall, that can likely explain why Bob Iger got easy close mind on his end to allow theaters to show all the older Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars movies they want, with the rare exceptions of allowing theaters to, like the Alamo Drafthouse, do some occasional viewing of Fantasia, as well as one for Little Mermaid, as well as allowing the Alamo Drafthouse to show all the older Muppets, Fox, and Indiana Jones things they want, as well as occasionally allowing theaters to host marathons dedicated to stuff like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars, well, select theaters anyways. Too bad all that didn't come to my local Alamo, but yeah. It is what it is with all that, but yeah. Yeah, when picky at movies I want to show, when great movies you guys can vote for, things will subject to change depending on not just who will take over Bob Iger's plays as CEO of Disney, but also depending on what the future of these streaming services that my parents will be proven using at the moment, but also as well as whatchamacallit, oh yes, right. As well as the future of animation. Look back. Because you guys know how much I love that show to death. Plus, even all of you guys who are part of the Epic Battles community watching this, and to anybody who part of the entire Epic Battles community watching this, both fanbase and creating, especially me, Dante, I now already know how much you guys love AniMat to death. That's why I just knew I had to push myself in incorporating animation look back as part of the entire presentation. But yeah, enough talk about all of that. Let's get on with a recap. This time surrounding by December 2014, since up to this point in time, it would obviously be 5 years ever since December 2014 has passed. Why do I feel like it is a recap? Long story on that, but here we go. First off, well, now I'm sure all of you, anyways, when I did that update vlog back in December 2014, if you're really that desperate how there can be people like Nate Rivera and Mr. Ben, for example, who can't actually be guilty for setting up the death of Robin Williams, well, I highly recommend you to watch that, you know. Yeah, what really did bug me about Mr. Ben, of all people, even up to this day, would be that when looking to whatever it is he wants Epic Battles to be, he just wants to make Epic Battles look more like something that comes straight out of 4Kids, more so than things would with, say, Disney. Hear me out what I mean, please. Thank you. Well, what I'm trying to say on how Mr. Ben really wants Epic Battles to be that it would look more like something that came out straight out of 4Kids, rather than something that came straight out of Disney. And yes, people, that's how I got the idea of how that Morgan Ledger is a major 4Kids supporter, more so than he is with Disney, and of how that I view anybody who would think I would stalk Morgan Ledger as nothing more than just major 4Kids supporters. Anyways, well, when looking to Disney on how they can be when not just they feel like making certain movies of their own, like Bambi, Little Mermaid, All the Way South, or The Black Cauldron, for example, as well as movies like The Incredibles, for example, as well as Toy Story, but also whenever Disney feels like doing any work on Japanese anime, especially as can already be proven not just when they do work on things for TV like Pokemon, but also whenever they get to do any English dubs of their own based on stuff from the entire Studio Ghibli catalog. Well, it would be really typical if, well, for Disney to keep a lot of adult things in. And for those who don't know, yes, people, that's pretty much of how Disney would handle English dubs for movies like Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, even My Neighbor Totoro, in a nutshell. They would just leave in the adult parts. And, pretty much the things that make those movies adult. While still welcoming the kiddies whenever they feel like it, of course. Okay, sure. There was in Castle in the Sky, Disney did indeed censor out the Treasure Island reference. Not only that, but also when Disney did an English dub of their own for Kiki's delivery service, they had Kiki drink hot chocolate instead of coffee. Well, that's because when those changes happened, they were changes approved by none other than Hayao Miyazaki himself. Now, regarding how Hayao Miyazaki can be when, say, anyone feels like making any English subs of any Studio Ghibli films, usually they would say you're a non-Japanese movie company who's willing to distribute anything coming from the entire Studio Ghibli catalog, both old and new. Well, apparently there will be this one rule that exists that you have to follow, that is, no cuts. Hence, as Disney managed to do work on Nausicaa of the Valiant of the Wind, I'm sure you may have noticed that compared to the original English dub of Nausicaa of the Valiant of the Wind, you'll notice that if you see the Disney dub of it, the folks at Disney just felt like leaving it uncut and flat out uncut and flat out uncensored. I'm sure all of you may have noticed up to this point that 4Kids, for whatever reason, never got to do English subs of their own in any Studio Ghibli movie. So that's because, well, not only would when regarding of how 4Kids can be whenever they do English subs of whatever they can get their hands on, they would always typically break this. One rule you're required to follow when doing English subs of very Ghibli films, or pretty much any foreign language subs of any Studio Ghibli movies that matters: no cuts. And when regarding 4Kids, well, it is worth noting that they love to censor out everything that makes the Japanese anime they're doing English subs of adult about them. Including little things like, for example, in Pokemon, you'll notice that I'm sure you may have famously heard about how that when 4Kids did their own English dub of Studio when regarding Pokemon, of all things, particularly the anime series, I'm sure you may have noticed for yourself that you may have famously heard in the past, even the folks at Censored Gaming talked about this before, that there would obviously be once a certain time period where rice balls, of all things, would be called nothing more than just jelly-filled donuts. But for those who don't realize this, yes, people, once upon a certain time period, there was literally one certain time period where rice balls were called nothing more than just jelly-filled donuts. Not only that, but also there was even one Pokemon episode 4 kids themselves produced, where Ramon was instead called Pizza. I don't get it. I mean, seriously think about it. If you're here in America already, especially over here in New York, there are definitely plenty of places you could have gone to enjoy some nice good old Asian food. I especially love to eat things like sushi all the time, and I especially love Chinese food and love Korean food. I eat them all the time, whenever I feel like it, but yeah. And, yeah. Yeah, that's Mr. Ben in a nutshell. Up to the point that there would even be those people who are considered to be part of the epic battles community, especially Dante of all people, who most likely view Mr. Ben as nothing more than just a middle finger to the entire Westbrook community. Because, let's be honest, when I talked about certain Westbrook folks with the entire epic battles community in the past, well, I've been getting that there will be some of those, well, where they would indeed be portrayed as bad guys, which I never expect to see coming from the entire Westbrook community of all places. Well, I mean, yes, I may have met people I may not have liked, like Mr. Ben, for example. So that just because there may be this one guy I may like, doesn't necessarily mean I hate everyone. It doesn't make everyone from Westbrook a terrible person. In fact, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's no one I like. In fact, there are definitely plenty of people I met I trust. In fact, I not only got to learn, there's not only one guy I met who taught me not to plagiarize to prove that Westbrook can have its good people, but also, I even learned how to travel train. Hence, when I moved on with my life with independent living, that's where I take paratransit to certain places. And, it's even where I got to meet Nicholas Centra, of all people. Yes, people. That's pretty much of how I knew Nicholas Centra in a nutshell. From that same exact place where I knew Mr. Ben, a.k.a. what I like to call not just the middle finger to the entire Westbrook community, but also what I sometimes feel like calling him as, I sometimes call him as the anti-Semitic of crossover media. But, yeah. And I'm sure all of you may have noticed in that same exact active vlog I did, that I also got to explain on what canon is, as well as how I intend my review show to be up to that point. Well, that's because, well, if you guys think what AzuchiGuardian has to say about my review show will be the first time someone would mishandle, let alone just get into some form of misunderstanding what counts as canon for casual reviews or bearRimshot, would you guys think it would be the first time that someone in general would ever get into a misunderstanding on what qualifies as canon for casual reviews, bearRimshot? It's reviews I do. Perhaps you guys have no idea that, well, if you've been watching me since 2016, I'm sure you'll be shocked to learn that, well, you'll be surprised to learn that apparently, when you guys see AzuchiGuardian continues to be a man-child about regarding the canon for casual reviews of bearRimshot, it really would not be the first time literally someone in general would mishandle the canon for casual reviews of bearRimshot. In fact, long before AzuchiGuardian decided to be a major pig over that show, there was also a certain time period where, for those who don't know, long before casual reviews of bearRimshot officially debuted over here on my YouTube channel, do keep an open mind, I also used to do reviews for Sparking TV as well. And when I get to do any of them for Sparking TV, that's where I can find these people I get to meet in life, usually my personal life, whose names I'm not going to mention. I'm not going to do any finger pointing with this one, but apparently there would be those people I personally knew at the time who really enjoyed what I do for Sparking TV at the time, up to the point that they would feel like what I'm doing is actually canon, which in fact it's not. I mean, to anyone and everyone who also enjoy what I do on the Sparking TV YouTube channel, I would be honored to thank you all for your support, I just know how to clarify with you that if looking for a non-canon review I did, go to Sparking TV for that. But, yeah. And speaking about Sparking TV, I'm sure all of you may have noticed that it's been a while since new content uploaded onto the Sparking TV YouTube channel. That's because ever since the last time a new video has ever been uploaded onto the Sparking TV YouTube channel, new management has happened. And when regarding what's been happening while I'd be taking film class at Spark of all places, it would actually, the people hired to currently teach film class at Spark is actually people who actually know how to make movies. So you do not tell them that they suck at filmmaking. That means use AzuchiGuardian. But yeah. So if you don't have anything nice to say about the current Sparking TV Spark Film Class creative team, just leave them alone. Let them do whatever the fridge or hell they want to do, But yeah. And if you're really that desperate to see me make more original content, that's the closest way you guys can ever see me do so. Yeah, it's not every day I do all originals, produce, write, or direct all original content. I'm not gonna lie when I say that, but yeah. Speaking about casual reviews of bearRimshot, there's also something else I just knew I need to address. Now, I'm sure all of you at this point may have noticed that when I released the last episode of review show the last episode of my review show, I decided to leave it as casual reviews of bearRimshot. Yet AzuchiGuardian, even to this day, still believes that I could go call Teddy TV. I'm sure all of you are probably going to be asking me, why the fridge would I even bother leave my review show as casual reviews of bearRimshot and nothing more, not necessarily change it back to Teddy's Reviews or Teddy TV. Well, here's the thing with that. Well, when regarding why I decided to leave my review show named Casual Reviews of bearRimshot, despite the fact that I don't have a AzuchiGuardian editor anymore, well, yes, AzuchiGuardian fan service did indeed play a part on why that is in the first place. But that's just nothing more than just a single tip of the iceberg, actually. Yes, people, as much as it is fan service that played a part on why I felt like leaving my review shows casual reviews, and that's it. Not time to call them, change it back to reviews, I'm going to call it TV. Well, yeah, there were more factors than just that. Also, from what you guys can tell what I decided to do with my review show, that's where I just knew how to know my limits, Back when, in 2004, just in time for the new year, when I already got to release casual reviews of bearRimshot Disney Infinity, back when it was released after Christmas has passed, I will be really, really honest here that, well, when regarding my future plans for casual reviews of bearRimshot after Disney Infinity once has already been released, well, when thinking about what to do for all future episodes of that of that entire series at the time, beginning with Return to Neverland, also including was a public apology in the top link of Seen Horse Moments that regardless if AzuchiGuardian were to still be my editor or not, that's where I guilty enough did decide on my part. So I did decide on my part, and I'm pretty sure AzuchiGuardian did actually originally agree with me in this. However, just so happens that he may have forgotten his part. That when thinking about whatever I wanted to do for the rest of the series after Disney Infinity, I would leave it as casual reviews of bearRimshot. And for those that don't know, yes, people, AzuchiGuardian did originally actually agree to me to that. It just so happened that once time got old, once he got fired of the editor's chair, that's where, for whatever reason, he mostly, if you guys see him deny what I'm saying, that he did originally agree with me on leaving my review show as casual reviews of bearRimshot and nothing more. That's because AzuchiGuardian on his end may have obviously forgotten that he actually did agree with me to leave it as casual reviews of bearRimshot. But yeah. So from what you guys can tell when looking to why that is, I decided to leave it as casual reviews of bearRimshot even up to this day, even when I don't have AzuchiGuardian as my editor anymore. It is worth understanding on your part that, yeah, from what you guys can tell us, if you're one of those people who actually did watch animation look back, it's another Studio Ghibli situation. Basically, what I'm trying to say here, well, for whatever happened to Studio Ghibli in terms of how it came to be, well, after Hayao Miyazaki got to finish up making Nausicaa the Valley of the Wind, that's where he, alongside Isaya Takahata and Toshio Suzuki, would then all go form Studio Ghibli. So then, that is where ever since Studio Ghibli was co-founded, even up to this day when they made My Neighbor Totoro, as well as again when they made Kiki's Delivery Service, and then again when they got to make Princess Mononoke, and then again when they got to work with Disney to make English dubs of their movie, of their movies, both old and new, both past and present, and again when they made Speed Away and yada yada yada. That's where they would, the founders and anyone in charge would leave it as nothing more than Studio Ghibli. I know what you're going to be thinking, what does that have to do with anything? Well, when forming Studio Ghibli co-founder Hayao Miyazaki had this idea in mind of having his entire animation studio named after an Italian airplane. And if you know your Hayao Miyazaki or Studio Ghibli things, then you should also know for a fact how much Hayao Miyazaki really loves airplanes. Hence, that's where movies such as Porco Rosso and The Wind Rises both became a reality, Both involved airplanes, but even a lot of other movies Hayao Miyazaki directed, like Nausicaa the Valley of the Wind and My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, and Spirited Away, for example, which all feature flying, Which, in case you guys wondering, what did Hayao Miyazaki originally to call Studio Ghibli for those who don't watch animation? Look back, well, let's just say he originally wanted to call it Studio Ghibli. Like I said before, named after an Italian airplane. But then, in the end of the day, he has an animation studio just called, have the second word of the name of his animation studio be pronounced Ghibli, not Ghibli as it originally intended to be. So that's where Hayao Miyazaki, when reflecting the forming of Ghibli, that's where he says that naming his animation studio should be just nothing more than just a name, And the same can also should also be applied with casual reviews of bearRimshot. Yes, as much as it is true that I may have originally wanted to call it something else like Teddy's Reviews. Teddy's Reviews a bearRimshot at the end of the day. Well, just as I go in with that name once the first episode came out, I just knew how to leave it as that throughout the rest of my life, regardless of what I can gather as my editor. And speaking about AzuchiGuardian, well, time to address this other thing regarding AzuchiGuardian. This time regarding to this. Now, yes, as much as it is true that you can tell that AniMat clearly has way more subscribers, more so than AzuchiGuardian does, well, that's where, unfortunately, there had, as much as you could say that AzuchiGuardian does have so many haters, unfortunately, there had to be certain individuals who ended up being what I like to call AzuchiGuardian clones. And let's be real here. Anybody who thinks nobody cares about AzuchiGuardian are just equally butthurt about. Not only have no respect for people with diabetes, but also they're just butthurt about what AzuchiGuardian got to put me through, which is pretty understandable. But still, that still doesn't excuse the fact that, well, unfortunately, there had to be those particular people who end up being nothing more than just AzuchiGuardian clones, more so than they are AniMat clones. Who could have ever been an AzuchiGuardian clone, despite the fact that AniMat has way more subscribers than AzuchiGuardian? Let's just say 4 people have been calling out AzuchiGuardian clones. Being Kaleb Korger, Mia Ray, Mike Mixtape, and Morgan Ledger. Now I know what all of you are going to be thinking. Just how the fridge these people hold up as nothing more than just AzuchiGuardian clones, more so than they are AniMat clones, even if not just all these people just named do really support AniMat more than they do with AzuchiGuardian, but also at the same time, they would have no idea who AzuchiGuardian is in the first place, at least most of them. Well, from what you guys can obviously tell based on the number of subscribers, both AniMat and AzuchiGuardian would have, there would obviously be a major difference between someone who can be considered as an AniMat clone and someone who can be considered as an AzuchiGuardian clone. And, when regarding of how Kaleb Korger, Mia Ray, Morgan Ledger, and Mike Mixtape do currently hold up as AzuchiGuardian clones, well, you may be thinking that it all boiled down to them having to know who these people are. Well, not exactly, no. Now, you ever get the saying, you either die a hero or live long a villain? Well, unfortunately, what I'm trying to say here is obviously the case, However, to prove my point, well, if you guys want to hear some prime examples of people who are indeed AniMat clones, well, James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, is indeed an AniMat clone. Okay, true. The Angry Video Game Nerd already coexisted within the world of the entire Reviewverse long before AniMat did. However, to prove that is obviously the case that James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, holds up as an AzuchiGuardian clone, well, to prove that, what I'm saying, to prove that James Rolfe holds up as nothing more than just an AniMat clone, what I'm trying to say is that I don't mean AzuchiGuardian clone, I mean AniMat clone anyways, if you're a regular watcher on reviews in general, I'm sure you may have noticed you can find more people who love James Rolfe more so than there are with Doug Walker. However, I even saw one guy on YouTube make this one video examining on how Angry Video Game Nerd is good and the Nostalgia Critic is bad, to prove that even up to this day, James Rolfe still holds up as an AniMat clone. And you guys wouldn't believe who else also gets to be an AniMat clone. Now, have you guys ever heard this one YouTuber called Sammy Classic Sonic Fan? For those who don't know, yes, people, you guys hear that right about him, despite the fact that he voted for Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm not gonna blame you for hating Trump I'm not gonna blame you for hating Trump for I hate Trump as well, but yeah. To prove that is obviously the case, well, a friend on Facebook named Stevie Swigard once did this video reflecting every single YouTuber got to review in the past. And from what I'm hearing about how Sammy Classic Sonic Fan has been now compared to he was back when he ended up being a spoiled brat, as we all originally famously know. Now, you know this one video he famously did where Sammy Classic Sonic Fan does his famous rant against the entire Sonic fan base for support, for not just going against his idea of a 3D environment classic Sonic game, but also for supporting such ideas as a Sonic Adventure 3, as well as a Sonic Heroes 2, as well as a Sonic 06 sequel, as well as a sequel to Sonic 06, as well as another boost to Entitle. Well, apparently, from my understanding about Sammy Classic Sonic Fan, he seems more calmer now than he was before. I'm not gonna lie. And regarding when you guys hear me say that Sammy Classic Sonic Fan is indeed an AniMat clone, I know in the beginning it may sound exaggerating, not just because he voted for Donald Trump, but also, well, I remember Stevie once told me before that when asking Sammy Classic Sonic Fan on about AniMat of all people, he actually doesn't know who the fridge AniMat is. No joke. But in the end, looks like he matured himself to prove that he's an AniMat clone. Whereas, well, from what you can tell of someone, from what you can tell of how someone can be seen as an AniMat clone, well, basically these are the individuals where surely they may not love to see themselves being criticized, but this is where these particular individuals knew when it's time to grow up, they have to grow up for themselves, you know. Like, say said individual made a terrible mistake, let alone did something they should not have done. That's where said individual would be most certainly going to grow up and willing to improve in life whenever they need to. And if you really think I'm AzuchiGuardian, well, look how many subscribers I have more so than AzuchiGuardian. Okay, I may not have up to over thousands of millions of subscribers just yet. However, do keep an open mind that AzuchiGuardian only has 15. I, on the other hand, as I'm recording this, only have 91. So technically, I'm not AzuchiGuardian. I'm bearRimshot. I even managed to reach over 50 subscribers 4 years ago to prove that I'm not AzuchiGuardian, as well as other obvious things as well. So screw you, Morgan Ledger, which I'll have to get into later. But anyways, moving on. bet you're all wondering how is it that Kaleb Korger, Mia Ray, Morgan Ledger, Mike Mixtape all stand up as nothing more than AzuchiGuardian clones more so than the AniMat clones. Despite neither of these people either they hate on AzuchiGuardian or at least clearly have no idea who the fridge is if I would talk about it. But yeah. Regarding Kaleb Korger, how he ended up being as that, well, lots of things actually. Here are the following things where Kaleb did actually prove that he's an AzuchiGuardian clone. One thing, of course, well, if you're a member of the AniMat fan club watching this, ever since I left the AniMat fan club back in 2017, I'm sure you may have heard Kaleb accuse me of lying about certain stuff. Which in this case, it would all boil down to Mike Mixtape, which, let's be real here, the only reason why you hear Kaleb say believes I sent somebody, you can tell he just butthurt about when I come across, quote-unquote, bashing Mike Mixtape. Which, yeah, sure, I may have been harsh on Mike Mixtape, but I just want to be honest how I feel and nothing more. Well, apparently, what if I told you all that you guys not only got Kaleb Korger, who would think I would lie about certain things, but also at the same time, you guys also got AzuchiGuardian as well, whom, like Kaleb, did actually believe that I would lie about certain things. Only this time, it would all boil down to the fate of casual reviews of bearRimshot ever since he got fired from the editor's chair. Now, just because, AzuchiGuardian may have been fired from the editor's chair, doesn't necessarily make casual reviews of bearRimshot canceled for. Only I have the final say on whatever I want to do, not AzuchiGuardian. But anyways, in the end of the day, well, from what you guys can tell 2 years ago, I did manage to prove AzuchiGuardian wrong, that I'm still doing the show even up to this day, even having to be called just nothing more than just casual use of bearRimshot. You might as well be surprised when that's not the only thing AzuchiGuardian, that's the thing I said was AzuchiGuardian felt like I was lying about. But also, of course, when you heard me brought up this special thanks I had in the end credits of an episode of Fuse Anime Movie Reviews. Now, I'm pretty sure when AzuchiGuardian felt like I was lying about that, he may have felt like I'm talking about casual reviews of bearRimshot, which in actuality I was talking about something else being Fuse Anime Movie Reviews. And do keep in mind that up to that time when I did that perspective vlog. And no, AzuchiGuardian, I never said anything about a collaboration with Tomar. We're talking about creating Tomar. In fact, it would be nice, but sadly will never happen, but yeah. When regarding this special thanks, where I had gotten in credits for Fuse Anime Movie Reviews, that'd pretty much be through supporting more on Patreon. For those who don't know, yes, people, I do get to support people on some of my favorite content creators on Patreon, not just because I feel like it, but also I'm more important with the money, and the content creators I'm willing to donate money to must be willing to don't take my money when they feel like it. Yeah. It shall be worth knowing that when regarding how I can be as a Patreon supporter, Tomar wasn't the only person I got to support on Patreon my entire life. Of course, you guys got AniMat, and you guys got Mr. Coat, as well as Jaime too, as well. As well as there's gaming and also, I bet you're all wondering what about Morgan. Unfortunately, as much as I've tried supporting on Patreon once, whenever, say, I feel like supporting on Morgan on Patreon, this is where Morgan, for whatever, he just felt like being a crook with me, It's a shame Morgan had to be a crook with me for that one, not the first, nor the last time Morgan would ever get to be a crook with me in general anyways, but yeah. In case you wonder who I'm currently supporting on Patreon at the moment, I'm currently supporting Digital Gaming and Source Gaming. And hopefully when I happen to have enough money to do so, I may consider supporting blocked content whenever I feel ready. But, yeah. And, however, the fact that Kaleb and AzuchiGuardian both did actually believe me that I would lie would not be the only thing to prove that Kaleb would not only be considered AzuchiGuardian, but also, let alone, have some form of connections with AzuchiGuardian in general. In fact, if you think that Kaleb would actually hate AzuchiGuardian, well, he's just sugarcoating, he's just saying that just to make us feel better. It just did so obviously happen that, well, on what made Kaleb Korger a supporter of AzuchiGuardian will be, well, especially remember years ago, while still part of the AniMat fan club, there would also be a certain time period where AzuchiGuardian did feel like attacking the AniMat fan club. So that's why I feel like reporting AzuchiGuardian to Kaleb. What did he do on his part? He refused to take action on his part. Yeah, he just, for whatever reason, Kaleb just felt like letting AzuchiGuardian do whatever, let AzuchiGuardian say whatever it is he wants to say. Well, says somebody who not only got silent with me when I feel like saying certain things, but also Tim Johnson and Chrissy Trotter as well. Regarding Kaleb's mistreatment towards Chrissy Trotter, I can understand. But yeah. And another thing that Kaleb did, or said that also made him sound like a AzuchiGuardian clone would be, as Kaleb would continuously make the same bad mistakes all over and over again, this is the moment where he would blame all of them on someone else, which in this case is me. Well, what if I told you all that you guys also have AzuchiGuardian who would always consistently do the same crap as well? Basically, there would be a lot of terrible mistakes AzuchiGuardian's made in the past where he would, where as facing the consequences go, this is what happens to Kaleb, this is where AzuchiGuardian would go blame it all on other people like me, you know? And let's be real here. For what Kaleb put me through is just childish. And so freaking what if Kaleb has autism? That still doesn't excuse the fact that, well, you shouldn't have removed me out of the group just because, well, you shouldn't have been thinking about bullying me by removing me out of the group just because of not just how critical I was with Mike Mixtape, but also how supportive I can be of Morgan Ledger in general. And, yeah. And, you know, that's also another thing Kaleb and AzuchiGuardian have in common. They both would do anything to deflect any piece of constructive criticism they would ever give in general. And let's be real here. When discussing who is said to be one of AniMat's biggest fans of all people, that is just sad for me to say about Kaleb of all people, aka one of AniMat's other biggest fans, who would do anything to refuse and deflect every piece of criticism he would ever get in his life. Even if it may mean a lot to people like me, for example, for him to just grow up. But more about that later, and you'll see why that is. Anyways, and then of course, with the case of, you got Mia, whom like Kaleb also ended up being a AzuchiGuardian, but with the case of Mia, it always typically boiled down to one thing that she always does. It always typically boiled down to this one thing she always loves to do to me, that make her stand up as AzuchiGuardian clone. Well, what is it, you guys may ask? Well, let's just say Mia loves to discriminate me for being autistic. Well, says somebody who's got OCD, as she always proclaims as herself to be. Apparently, Mia wouldn't necessarily be the only person who would literally discriminate me for being autistic. Also, you guys got AzuchiGuardian, who once called me and my good friend Nicholas Centra retards for being autistic. Well, says somebody who's not only done ARC things in the past, but also having to do things with ability beyond as well. In fact, says somebody that when going to AzuchiGuardian who going this one time when AzuchiGuardian got to call me and Nick retards, says somebody who got to work with Dwayne Moore from Ability Beyond for over 10 years. And I'm pretty sure anyone who knows who I'm talking about is probably going to be like, oh, damn. It's true. Not going to lie. Whereas when regarding Mike Mixtape, well, let's just say, there would indeed, not only does he want to hurt me, as he recommended to me one time, but also, there would be certain choices he got to make in his life, where, as feeling like making these particular decisions on his end to go, this is a moment where, for whatever reason, would all pretty much open the floodgates for Mike Mixtape to potentially interview AzuchiGuardian whenever I felt like it, and oh boy, did that rub me the wrong way. And even up to this day, I still did not get a single apology from him, I especially remember when he made this one video announcing the cancellation of Cinema Royale. He pretty much got to apologize to everyone who was bad to his end but me, That was pretty insulting, considering of how well, regarding how I can use my Mixtape at that time, even up to this day, I'm really not going to lie and say that Mike Mixtape really said and did something to me that really rubbed me the wrong way, And I really wasn't lying to you guys, though, when you guys say that Mike Mixtape, of all people, did actually send death threats to me when he felt like it, Just saying when he felt like it, yeah. And, yeah. When I've talked to Mike Mixtape why he didn't get to apologize to me, he felt like I wasn't maturing. So you can tell that Mike Mixtape clearly did binge watch AzuchiGuardian on his part, Let's be real here. You can't really believe everything AzuchiGuardian says, especially if you want to know regarding casual reviews of bearRimshot. Yeah, when regarding how I can honestly be with the whole idea of not just Mike Mixtape from that matter, but anyone for that matter interviewing AzuchiGuardian, I'm gonna save all that for another day. It's another story for another day for another video. Yeah. Wait till once the 10th anniversary of Cinema Royale strikes, that's where you guys will get to see me make that particular video to promote that. But, yeah. When regarding Mike Mixtape, he's such a troll, He loves to troll me when he feels like it, Yeah, and the fact that he refused to apologize to me after what he's put me through, and the fact that every time I feel like reaching out to anyone, the person I'm talking about refused to take action on him for what he got to put me through, that is all just sad. Hell, when I especially remember the last time I remember when I see him finally unblocking me on Facebook, I did get to block him as a punishment to prove that to prove that to prove that it's what he gets for trolling me, and he felt like it. And yeah, Mike, if you're ever watching this, if you're really not going to apologize anytime soon, don't make me unsubscribe to you. Yeah. I'm still waiting for that apology from you, Mike. Because if you don't apologize to me, I will unsubscribe to you for that, Just like what this really good friend of mine by the name of BananaGamer105 already did to you. Because, let's be real here. See why not only would I call you out as AzuchiGuardian clone just now, but also why my dear good friend Nicholas Hunter, aka BananaGamer105, felt like unsubscribing to you. You treat me like dirt all the time. You like to think that people who are autistic or people who are Jewish are terrible people. You are anti-Semitic, you are a Nazi, and you are a troll. You don't get when someone wants you to grow up, Okay, you may have given what people like Morgan wanted to see you do, but never did you do to me. You just try to make it, you try to be one of those people alongside Morgan. You're just trying to make it so Chrissy Trotter would go rape me for life. Speaking about Morgan, oh boy. Where do I begin with this? Well, when regarding Morgan, on how he managed to hold up as AzuchiGuardian clone, not only can he be one of those people in general, but he can be very, very cynical on what he do just because, well, not only would there be this one mistake I made in the past, but also just because there may have been something little I've done in life, well, just because there may have been some little things I've done in life here and there, but also at the same time, well, whenever I feel like it's a good time for me to criticize him, that's where Morgan, like with Kaleb and Mike Mixtape, Morgan would most certainly do anything in constantly deflecting over whatever pieces of criticism I give to him. And let's be honest here. The only reason why Morgan would do anything to deflect whatever pieces of criticism I have for him is because, well, let's be honest here. When regarding how he can be whenever he gets to meet anyone on the internet, or anyone for that matter gets to criticize him, this is the moment where he can find those other people in general who would do anything to criticize him, like, would do anything to bash him. Like, say there be this movie he got to review in general, whether it be revolting, or a show he gets greenlight from Pages to Pictures, for example, where he may say certain things that, well, said critic in general may not agree with him on, That's pretty much a problem that these other critics, these other people who have problems with Morgan, as they claim, would have in a nutshell. But when regarding what honestly bugs me about Morgan, and no, people, it's not necessarily him having certain opinions of certain movies I just shoot. Like, say there be this movie he likes or hates. That was never the problem with anything. Now, surely there may have been certain movies Morgan got to review in the past, which I did actually end up disagreeing. However, never have you guys in general ever hear me say that it was wrong for Morgan for whatever it is you like or hate. I honestly never said that it was wrong for whatever it is Morgan likes, loves, hates, dislikes, cares, doesn't care, or that kind of stuff at all. Honestly never said that. And I especially honestly never said anything that go along the lines of say, AzuchiGuardian doesn't care about Azuchi. Especially honestly never said the lines that go along the lines of how that it's wrong for Morgan to not care about AzuchiGuardian. I honestly never said that at all in my entire life. I even once tweeted out how I honestly felt about when Morgan and Hymatud both did those co-reviews together on Clyde the Chance of Meatballs on Howard the Grinch to prove that I don't have a problem with saying there may be this movie he got to review in general that I may not agree on. However, it just can so happen that the problems if you really want to know what bugs me the most about Morgan, well, let's just say the biggest problem I have with Morgan is really, well, whenever Morgan in general feels like talking about things he hates, this is where you can find him literally exaggerate his hatred over something. Which unfortunately can obviously be true about when he feels like just getting to any form of discussion of AzuchiGuardian, you know? And I'm pretty sure when you guys hear Morgan say that I'm AzuchiGuardian, he just wants to discriminate me. He just want to hate on me for being a New Yorker as well as being a gamer, you know? Yeah, when you guys hear Morgan say that I'm AzuchiGuardian, he just makes himself sound like that he hates all New Yorkers and he hates all gamers, including James Wolfe, of all people. And for those who don't know, and yes, people, that's what bugs me about Morgan in a nutshell. When you guys hear him talk about AzuchiGuardian, he just, when you guys say that AzuchiGuardian, he's just exaggerating. Not only is Morgan clearly exaggerating on his hatred of AzuchiGuardian, but also you can tell that Morgan is really looking to discriminate me for being a New Yorker and for being a gamer as well. And to prove my point on how Morgan did happen to hate all New Yorkers, well, even Mike Mixtape, I'm sure, could have told you that Morgan hates all New Yorkers. Especially remember Mike Mixtape did actually once tell me that both Morgan Ledger and Hymatud are actually anti-Semitic. Especially Morgan, who is that. Especially remember Mike Mixtape did once actually tell me that everyone don't touch the royalty, including Morgan of all people as well as Hymatud, that they're anti-Semitic. And yeah. And if what I'm hearing about Morgan is actually true, that he's trying to say that he doesn't care about AzuchiGuardian, well, all I can honestly say about that is that it'd be one thing to not care about AzuchiGuardian, let alone get into some form of disagreement with him on certain things he does in life. However, fusing me in with AzuchiGuardian, that is clearly unacceptable, and that just makes you sound like not just someone who hates all New Yorkers, like I said before, as well as all gamers, but also makes you sound like a sex offender for saying such things about AzuchiGuardian, you know? I mean, I get it, you may not want to affiliate yourself with me, and you hate AzuchiGuardian so much as you do with me, but still, it still doesn't change my mind the fact that AzuchiGuardian and I, whether you like it or not, still hold up as different people. And to prove that it's obviously the case, well, when you guys hear AzuchiGuardian get into form of discussion of things like AniMat, Value Seam, and Expression, Nickel-centric, casual reviews with bearRimshot, as well as Barack Obama, as well as Donald Trump, would not be the same of what I would say. And if you think I can write with my right-handed, I can't. I can only do things with my left hand. And I'm pretty sure when you guys hear Morgan say that I'm AzuchiGuardian, he's also trying to discriminate me for not being right-handed permanently. As well, I'm pretty sure when you guys hear Morgan say that that I'm AzuchiGuardian, I'm pretty sure Morgan is also looking to discriminate me for being left-handed. And I'm pretty sure just because Morgan's right-handed, and also I'm pretty sure Morgan Ledger, if you ask him what he thinks about Kim Jong-un, he would most likely treat Kim Jong-un as well as Kim Jong-il as if they're a bunch of magnum opuses. And yes, I hate Kim Jong-il, and I hate Kim Jong-un. And so does AzuchiGuardian. So I guess you could say when you guys hear not just Morgan, for that matter, but anyone would say such things about me, they're just being Kim Jong-un supporters as well. As well as glorifying the idiocies of Ethan Bernhardt, as I pointed out before, as well as Joby Dims. And yes, people, Morgan Ledger is indeed a Joby Dims supporter as well. And yeah. Speaking about Kaleb, speaking of which, something else I need to address, this time regarding to Kaleb Korger once again. I'm sure you're probably going to be questioning, what is it now this time? Now, I'm pretty sure all of you may have noticed, if you're still part of the AniMat fan club, I'm sure you may have noticed that Kaleb, for whatever reason, did actually take the screenshot of what I feel like saying about him, and actually made a mockery out of me, which I did not like. Yeah, from what you guys saw in that screenshot, what I feel like saying about him, I just wanted to be honest how I feel about Kaleb. Nothing more. And I'm really not going to lie when I say that Kaleb definitely needs to learn to just grow up. Now, when looking to the problems I have with not just AzuchiGuardian, but also the same thing can also apply to people like Kaleb Korger, Mia Ray, Mike Mixtape, and Morgan Ledger. And no, I'm not looking to destroy anything they're passionate about. In fact, whatever it is you may be passionate about, I can honestly respect. I just honestly don't appreciate it when you do things that involve hurting other people, you know? And, regarding what bugs me about Kaleb Korger, this is where he gets to bully me just because, well, not only did I grow really cynical of Mike Mixtape, but also, I also supported Morgan Ledger. In which, well, yeah. If what I'm saying about Kaleb is really true, all I can honestly say about that is, regarding how I've been with Mike Mixtape, it'll be one thing to get into a disagreement with me on certain things. However, when it goes up to the point where you go brainlessly accuse me of lying about something, you are indeed a major sex offender. And I mean, you, Kaleb Korger, but also you, Alexander Mirabella, is also a sex offender as well. In fact, anybody who thinks I would lie about Mike Mixtape or lie about anything matter, are just equally as major, bigger sex offenders as are people who think all bronies are gay. And And, when regarding Morgan, well, if Kaleb is trying to say that he wants space from me, I would have seen where he's going, I mean, one thing to let me know nicely. It would be one thing to let me know, to speak up to me if you or someone for that matter wants space from me. But saying that I would stalk, well, that is just wrong. Truth be told, I honestly never considered thinking about opening myself neither a second Facebook nor a Twitter account. I feel like doing that kind of stuff. If I were stalking Morgan Ledger, I would have thought about possibly opening a new fake account for either Facebook or Twitter. But I don't see a need to. For every website I use, including social media, I'll just create one life for myself. That's it. Once, say, somebody feels like blocking me for whatever reason, it's over for me. Unless that individual who blocked me felt like thinking about unblocking me. Otherwise, more it is on them, more it is on me. More it is on them than it is on me. Yeah, especially when we're talking to another fellow AniMat fan regarding Kaleb by the name of AzuchiGuardian. Yes, I'm still on good terms with even up to this day. I will honestly say, unlike Kaleb, who's obnoxious, Jerry must say is trustworthy. It's a shame that he had to leave the AniMat fan club and let Kaleb take in charge, And I especially remember as reading reading under the messages right here on Twitter, I remember talking to Jerry about Kaleb. I especially remember Jerry did once tell me that Kaleb did seem to be very egotistical. He said that he's been dealing with personal life problems and just loving himself too much. Okay, if what I'm hearing is true, well, just because you have personal life problems doesn't necessarily mean you should go do bad things to people like me. Just because, well, things happen in personal life. Look, I can feel the same way about myself as well when I go through certain problems in my personal life, like what happened to me during my school life. But even with all those personal life problems we have, you'd be better off, well, move on, keep moving forward with your life, and instead keep doing more good things and do bad, That's what I would most certainly do when I go through personal life problems. If I were you, I would just keep moving forward with my life as much as I honestly can, and keep doing good things to people as much as I honestly can. And yeah, regarding loving, sometimes I'm not saying there's anything wrong in being proud about certain things you've done in life. I mean, if it's good things you've done, I can strongly understand. But if it's bad things done, like you bullied someone, not okay, man. Not okay, And as I pointed out before, if someone wants you to grow up, if it means a lot to someone for you to grow up if you have to, And yes, I know I can be very proud of whatever it is I feel like doing in my life, but sometimes even I myself can be guilty enough of making some terrible mistakes in the past. However, the minute I get to make any mistake, that's where I just knew I had to learn my stuff. I especially remember one time not too long ago, I asked there's this woman whose name of this individual I'm not going to mention for privacy reasons. Anyways, I remember at first this person, I feel like asking her for money through PayPal, it felt like at first, I thought I was talking to someone who works for PayPal, but turns out I was actually talking to the wrong person, And oh boy, do I regret asking her about that ever since. I will be very honest, I honestly didn't know that I was talking to someone not affiliated with PayPal, if you know what I mean, So my bad, And I even got to apologize to her for that and clarified that it was an honest mistake on my part, and clarified to her and the person charged with the social group I'm part of, and she's also part of, that it will never happen again. But yeah, I mean, I get how you. In all seriousness, I can see. I can see how you. In all seriousness, I can get how you feel about if, say, you may have done some good things in the past, Kaleb. However, just because there may be this one or a couple of good things you may have been proud of doing, just because there may have been a couple of good things you may have done in the past you would have been proud of, and just because you have personal life problems, shouldn't necessarily mean you have to do bad things. Shouldn't give you the right to do bad things to people, If you want to prove me wrong that you are not an AzuchiGuardian clone, just simply listen to whatever your critics like me, for example, have to say. Then boom, you've proven me wrong. You are no longer considered an AzuchiGuardian clone. You are considered an AniMat clone. And if you're looking for any AniMat or Mr. Code fans guilty of being an AniMat clone, well, look at Tim Johnson. Now, I will be really, really honest here. The only reason why I trusted him again, I now trust him. The only reason why I was able to trust him again, despite some bad things he's been doing in life, is that, well, despite going through misunderstandings with me on certain things, at the very least, he got to prove me wrong. But, yeah. So, yeah, just because you may have had personal life problems, and there may have been something you would have been proud of, just because it may have been something you may have successfully accomplished in life, grow up, man. Just keep doing more good than bad, And if you do that, and if you keep doing more good things than bad, and you get to listen to whatever everyone can say, God, who knows, something amazing will happen to you, just like not just what happened to AniMat, but also me too, Otherwise, if you don't listen to what I say, don't change your attitude, you're probably going to be remembered as AzuchiGuardian clone for life. And God, who knows, more and more bad things could have happened to you, like, say someone just felt like losing respect for you. Well, apparently, that's not only pretty much what happened to people like Kaleb Korger and Ray in a nutshell, but also what happened to people like Mike Mixtape and Morgan Ledger, for example. Mike Mixtape and Morgan Ledger in a nutshell. As they keep doing bad things to people like me, that's where they'd be in for people losing respect for them, And as I pointed out before, there would be one good friend in my personal life named Nicholas Centric, Gamer 105, who not only got to lose a lot of respect for people like Kaleb and me for what they put me through, but also lost respect for Mike Mixtape and Morgan Ledger for what the guys are putting through as well as Hamitude for guilty of violating OSHA. And yes, people, Hamitude did guilty of violating OSHA. But speaking about OSHA, I almost forgot to mention that another thing that Kaleb did that also proved him that he was a AzuchiGuardian clone. Well, this is where as Kaleb and AzuchiGuardian both get to the things they love to do in life, this is the moment where they would be guilty of committing some OSHA violation. certain things as if you did feel like doing something like this at work, you could have seriously been in for an OSHA violation, you know? Just seriously think about it. Telling lies about former boss, or going to libel on former boss, or blaming bad mistakes on another individual, that is seriously all an OSHA violation right here. That both AzuchiGuardian and Kaleb Korger both commit. For those that don't know, yes, people, both AzuchiGuardian and Kaleb Korger both did indeed violate OSHA. And yeah. And yeah. And speaking about toxic anime fans, you wouldn't believe who else out of all the toxic anime fans that exist, whom Nick Centric Game Banana Game 105 get to lose respect for. Now, you know who the one who I was sometimes jokingly calling Antichrist when I feel like it, Chrissy Trotta? Well, apparently we've gotten, if you hated what Chrissy Trotta put not just me through in life, but also people like AniMat as well, or anyone from, if you guys hated to see not just what Chrissy Trotta gets to put me through in life, for that matter, but also AniMat as well, you're probably going to feel Nicholas Centra's pain when you get to talk to him about Chrissy Trotta, you know. Nicholas Centra, from what you can tell, from his been a Chrissy Trotta, he never really liked. And yeah. Now that I got out of the way, what else is there to talk about? I know it's in the tip of my tongue somewhere. Oh yes, right. Now let's get moving on from ranting about trolls. Let's get on at the moment. Now it's time to get into another discussion. Just now, I get to another one I almost forgot to bring up last time, being life as a game designer. If you've been watching me since 2016, I'm pretty sure all of you watching this may have personally seen me mention of how that I would love it if I could get into game design. And if you guys really think I really was exaggerating when you guys see me say that, I'm afraid I really mean it when I did actually say that I want to get into game design. I literally want to get into game design one day. However, it just can so obviously happen. Well, if I can be very honest, when I can ever release any games I want to make, you guys will all have to wait a while. I don't know when, to be honest, but all I can honestly say is it may all take a while. So if you're one of those people who got the urge to play one of my games that I may get the direction right, you guys may have to wait a while. So please be patient. Thank you. And now let's finally get into discussion regarding Ethan Brown. Now I know what all of you are probably going to be thinking. What about Ethan Brown this time? Now, for those who don't know, when I personally made this one YouTube video back in November, just in time for the fact that it's been 5 years ever since Robin Williams passed away, I personally made this video talking about how both AzuchiGuardian and Ethan Brown both can be seen as innocent for setting up the death of Robin Williams. Well, I will be very honest here. As addressed before, there were people who would likely ask me that. Like, say you're indeed one of those people part of the entire Big Bow's community. you may get really grudgy with what both AzuchiGuardian and Ethan Brown both got put through, especially AzuchiGuardian. That's where we're open the floodgates on your part to feel like AzuchiGuardian as well as Ethan Brown both deserve some form of blame for setting up the death of Robin Williams. However, just can so obviously have been up to that point that lately that's where you can find both AzuchiGuardian and Ethan Brown would be more relevant to that point in time in life, you know? Yeah, well, it is worth something I just knew how to know about. Whenever more and more new epic battles movies get to be made, that's where you can find, well, more and more new characters tend to pop up for the sake of relevance in the beginning. Even though there can occasionally be those who may be there for nostalgia. And, you know, when regarding of how people like not just AzuchiGuardian, but also people like Kaleb Korger as well, I mean, they weren't epic battles. This is all about relevancy that matters at that point in life, you know? When first getting to discussion about those particular individuals. Speaking about Kyle Sizowitz, I'm sure all of you may have noticed that I didn't bother talking about Kyle Sizowitz. Well, that's because, well, I will be really honest here. Kyle's my friend, and he, unlike AzuchiGuardian and Ethan Brown, who are just obnoxious to me in life, Kyle Sizowitz, I must say, is trustworthy, you know. I trust Kyle Sizowitz more so than I would with AzuchiGuardian and Ethan Brown. And I'm sure all of you may have also noticed that I didn't even happen the need to talk about people like Kaleb Korger, Alexander Rebellious, John Ray, and even Mike Mixtape. Well, when regarding Mike Mixtape, well, haven't seen him make any videos, personally make any videos of his own, bashing any Robin movies that I'd be aware of. And plus, when regarding of how the entire Epic Battles community can be with Mike Mixtape, they would hold soft spots for it. Which would also indeed be a factor of how people within the entire Epic Battles community, regardless of what Nicholas has to say about this other individual, they would also hold soft spots for Morgan Ledger as well as Jaime too, you know? Despite their mental flaws with me, you know? And, yeah, when regarding Ethan Brown, yeah, you know, in case you're wondering how I first met Ethan Brown, well, it all started way back when I first came to St. Chris. Because at that point, I was just so happy to meet one of my good friends, that's biggest fanboys, Micah Davis, and I especially remember Ethan Brown would continue to go live on him when he felt like it. And from what you guys can honestly tell what Ethan Brown got a put through at that time, you have to say, I can likely explain one of those factors of how, even up to this day, that I never really liked Ethan, you know? Another thing about Ethan Brown that made me feel like I never really liked him, even up to this day, would include, well, I especially remember one time while the entire St. Chris community were enjoying campus-wide dinner, I was spending time with Micah for whatever reason, doing some research for some work for Battle of the Groups. That's where Ethan, for whatever reason, got all nosy with me when I was doing some work on Battle of the Groups. And that just made me feel creeped out over what Ethan put me through. And yeah. Also, another thing that also made me not like Ethan, I would include. Well, I also don't like when another thing Ethan does that I also don't like would include he goes saying negative things about whatever game ideas I have in mind, and he would also. And I remember hearing from another Synchro student that he has intentionally doing sexual things towards me. And yeah. And when regarding like the games I want to make, this is more where from what you guys can often discuss the legality of that kind of stuff. This is one where I just knew how to make it all free to play, Especially considering the fact that when regarding those, a lot of those games I maybe get to make may involve use of either Disney or Nintendo IPs. And when you guys can say Disney, that includes Marvel and Star Wars as well. And yeah. When regarding Battle of the Groups, once everything surrounding that kind of stuff gets made, well, once Battle of the Groups gets to be made as either a digital board game as well as a video game as well as an anime series, they will all be free to play or watch. So if you're really that desperate to pay to play Battle of the Groups, well, you may do so with the trading card game as well as most likely when I do get to make it into an entire cookbook. And as I've been talking about before, yes, at some point whenever I feel ready to do so, I may consider opening up a crowdfunding page dedicated to Battle of the Groups. So if you're really, really that desperate to pay any money to play, if you're really that desperate to pay with your own money to play Battle of the Groups outside of playing the trading card game, you'll also get to help donate me money, certain amounts of money. You'll also get to donate me certain amounts of money to help bring Battle of the Groups digital board game to life. Which I will also like to mention that when I do open up a crowdfunding page, I may offer certain rewards you can likely earn. And when you guys say that about such a thing about Battle of the Groups, unfortunately for you, Ethan Brown, no matter how many times you feel like doing this, no matter how much money you feel like donating me, I will happily refuse to take any amount of money you feel like pledging me. Besides, it's not only what you get for going all liable, one of my biggest fanboys, but also there's also what you obviously get for angrily insulting me over certain games I want to make and wanting to do sexual things towards me. Yeah, and there's a good reason why I feel like making all my games free to play. Not just that, but also have them stand up as nothing more than just cloud digital releases. I'm sure you may have heard some of you heard me before that, yes, when I release Battle of the Groups as a video game, it will get a Switch port, but nowhere can you ever see it get a PlayStation. Nowhere can you ever see it get a PS2 port anytime soon. Well, that's because, the problems I would have with porting Battle of the Groups onto a PlayStation 2 is not only can the PS2 only support nothing but physical copies, but also at the same time, there would be some technical limitations. I just knew how to go through importing any multiplayer games onto the PlayStation 2. Like, say I feel like re-releasing, I feel like porting, say, some Smash clone on there. Unfortunately, it would be impossible to do that since the PlayStation 2 can only support up to 2 players, at least most multiplayer games that come to the PlayStation 2, from my personal understanding. Whereas the Switch, on the other hand, well, it does indeed support digital releases. So yes, people, as tragic as it is, and you guys will never see Battlefield see a Wii release, but also PS2 release, so you guys can definitely expect it to see release in the not just PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but also PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, maybe Wii U, maybe Wii U, as well as Windows, as well as Mac, as well as Linux, as well as iOS and Android. And even if it is a tragedy that Battlefield will never see a Switch from me, we'll never see a Wii port, at least it can still see a Switch port either way, And besides, out of all the consoles I can currently port Battlefield to, the Switch port, I will say, I'm really, really excited about, Yeah, when regarding the idea of porting Battlefield onto the Nintendo Switch, that is number one console port of Battlefield all of you guys should be excited about. Especially if you love the Switch for whatever good stuff that console on its own has to offer, Not just because it's another Nintendo platform that exists that matters, but also, as I pointed out before, you technically can release a game digitally on the Switch. And not only that, but also other good things worth excited about the Switch is that, when regarding the Switch port for Battlefield, the biggest selling point for when porting Battlefield for the Nintendo Switch would be regarding local multiplayer. Now, when discussing all other consoles I could have ported Battlefield to, even though I can invite as many players as possible to online multiplayer, when discussing local multiplayer, it can only go to 2, 4, or 8. But regarding the Switch, on the other hand, depending on the minigame you choose to play, you can go over 9 players if you want to. And that would be great if I can do that, considering how, well, there would be several Battlefield games here that I would consider making, where there will be at least 9 group leaders or more that will try to Battle Saga to get to actually have in common. And yes, people, there would indeed be plenty of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and Nintendo characters you get to play as in Nintendo games over what you guys can obviously tell. And that's why I just knew how to let it as nothing more than just a free-to-play game. And you may be thinking that technically that's not all the case. The case of one, and if I could be very honest, why I feel like making it free-to-play, well, do keep an open mind. This is a fan game we're talking about, Surely, Nintendo, it would be typical for both Disney and Nintendo to not like it when people do fan-made projects on their IPs. However, you do good to them, as long as you can agree to not make money of it, not make a single buck of it using, and give credit whenever it's due. That's where you'd be safe, And I definitely have seen plenty of people doing fan-made projects based on Disney and Nintendo IPs that are luckily able to survive without having to worry about getting sued. And if they did, the fan creators are most likely going to win, However, there are even plenty of people out there who may make fan games based on Super Smash Brothers that, well, to this day, you can still play whenever you feel like it. And that'll be all. Just keep on the lookout for more exciting things, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your entire new year and new decade.